Hi there, my name is Ketty Iannantuono and I am a PhD candidate at the Radboud Institute for Culture and History at Nijmegen in the Netherlands. This fall, I will defend my PhD thesis. In the meanwhile, from mid-September onwards, I will start a period of research at Florence and Istanbul, thanks to the joint postdoctoral fellowship funded by the KHI and the ANAMED for the academic year 2022-2023. I am very excited to be joining the vibrant academic communities at both these institutes. So let me spend a few words to introduce myself and what I've been doing research-wise up to today, and then I will elaborate a little bit more about my new research project that will bring to the KHI and to the ANAMED. I am a classical archaeologist and an ancient historian, and previously I've been trained at the University of Bologna in Italy. There, I focus on the study of Roman epigraphy, Roman material culture, and landscape archaeology. Furthermore, I participated in multiple international archaeological campaigns, mostly in northern and central Italy. For my PhD, I decided to broaden a bit my horizons, and I moved to the Netherlands, and I started to focus on the study of ancient Roman culture outside Italy. My PhD was part of a larger project named Constraints and Tradition that was aimed at the investigation of how systems of rule were communicated, contested, and accepted in the changing societies that inhabited the ancient Roman Empire. In this larger framework, I looked at one of the most widespread media of communication of Roman antiquity, namely large-size public monuments. Specifically, I looked at monuments depicting Roman emperors and set in the provinces of the empire. In particular, I focused on the Eastern Alps, Northern Africa, and Anatolia. By looking at Roman provincial monumentality from this angle, I had the opportunity to combine my strong fascination with the ancient Mediterranean world with my passion for the analysis of political discourses in the past as much as in the present. I strongly believe that debunking the idea of a Romanocentric culture dominating the ancient Mediterranean is a very important step to expose some of the shortcuts that for very long have affected our understanding of the past and the ideological use of this past in modern narratives. One way to uncover the potential biases in the way that we look at the history of the ancient Mediterranean is to engage in the critical analysis of modern scholarly interpretation. Therefore, I dedicated a part of my PhD thesis to illustrate modern interpretation of ancient monuments set in the provinces in the context of the specific historical and political circumstances in which such interpretation were developed. For instance, I looked at modern exhibitions of Roman antiquities from the provinces. In particular, I looked at the so-called Mostra Archeologica, an exhibition that was hosted at the bath of Diocletian in Rome, just in front of the Stazione Termini, on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the unification of the Italian state, so therefore in 1911. My research was useful to prove that the display of this Mostra Archeologica was heavily conditioned by modern Italy's nationalistic ideology. For example, the main attraction of the exhibition was a one-on-one reconstruction of the vestibule of the Temple of Augustus in Roma at Ancira, in present-day Ankara, Turkey. At the Mostra Archeologica, the display of the copy of a Roman temple from exotic Ancira proved not only the vast reach of the ancient Roman Empire, but also the alleged legitimacy of the territorial claim in the Mediterranean by modern Italy. So the research that I will conduct at the KHI first and the ANAMED later, from February onwards, is a direct outcome of this previous research of mine. The project is named Archaeology on the Threshold of the Italo-Turkish War: Scholarly and Diplomatic Dynamics Behind the 1910 Archaeological Mission at Ankara. So as specified by this very long title, what I plan to investigate both in Florence and in Istanbul are the relationship and networks of individuals and institutions that made it possible to carry out this archaeological mission that was organized by Italians at Ankara to produce the plaster cast of the walls of the Temple of Augustus in Roma in preparation for the Mostra Archeologica in Rome. The exceptionality of this archaeological exhibition and archaeological mission emerged against the background of three important factors. First of all, the scientific relevance of the reconstruction of the temple. The Temple of Augustus in Roma famously attests the best preserved copy of the Res Gestae Divi Augusti, the queen of description that reports Augustus' deeds all over the empire. Therefore, in the early 20th century, the archaeological scientific community was eager to have a complete copy of the description that also accounted for the archaeological context of the temple. Second, the copy of the temple was crucial for the ideological scope of the Mostra Archeologica itself. Its display was intended to showcase what was the supposed historical roots of the Italian domination over the territories that at the time, in the early 20th century, were under the control and the rule of the Ottoman Empire, a very, very significant political competitor in the domination of the Mediterranean. Connected to this Italian-Ottoman competition is the third point that makes relevant the study of the Mostra Archeologica, and especially of the preliminary mission of Italian archaeologists in Ottoman land that until now have gone understudied. The archaeological mission led in Ankara to prepare the plaster cast of the temple was conducted in 1910, a moment of very high political tension. In fact, just 1 year later, in September 1911, a war outburst between the establishing Italian Empire and the fading Ottoman one. So in brief, my research pursues three aims. The first is to explore scholarly and diplomatic dynamics behind the 1910 archaeological campaign at Ankara. The second is to clarify political entanglements of early 20th century Italian archaeological activities in Anatolia. And the last one is to open up new perspectives on Italo-Turkish cultural and political relationship in the early 20th century. In order to accomplish these three goals, I will mine different archives between Italy and Turkey, and I will document and study private and official communications between different agents involved in the setting up of this archaeological mission. My focus will be on the documents produced by the Italian academics, politicians, and different stakeholders of this archaeological mission. I will study documents produced both in Italy and in Turkey. Therefore, the fellowship is very ideally divided between Florence and Istanbul. My attention will be not limited to explore Italian attitudes to cultural heritage in the Mediterranean. On the contrary, through the lenses of the accounts of Italians active in the Ottoman Empire, I intend to explore the contemporary early 20th century understanding of Ottoman cultural policies and of local responses to Italian archaeological activities abroad. In the end, I intend to publish a scholarly article and to organize a series of activities of outreach destined to a larger audience. In addition, I also planned to use the case of the 1910 Italian archaeological mission at Ankara as a proxy to set up a broader study of political, diplomatic, and scholarly interest behind early 20th century Italian archaeological activities in the Mediterranean. I'm so much looking forward to start this new project. And I'm also very enthusiastic of soon being part of the academic community at the KHI and at the IANAMED, especially in order to interact with the other fellows, to learn about their project and line of research, and to get feedback, advices, and suggestions about mine. I believe that in Florence and in Istanbul, I will find the perfect environment where to develop my research, and also myself. by engaging in the stimulating, fruitful kind of discussion that I think are always the best part of this fellowship. So thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'm looking forward to meet you and to share coffees, chai, and talks very, very soon.